Hello and welcome here. So this is going to be an oracle reading style, and I have two decks with me, the Divine Feminine deck as well as the Isis Oracle deck. And I'll use these two cards to see what comes through, the message for you today. So the two cards that I pulled from the beginning, from each of the deck, is the overarching theme of today's reading. These are the two cards, and I'm going to see what comes through these two cards before pulling more cards for more messages. So the first card that I pulled is from the Isis Oracle deck, and it's the Abundance card, and it says Stellar Blessings of the Celestial Goddess of Abundance. And on this imagery, which is interestingly on both the cards as well, you can see kind of like source light beaming down onto Earth, and the same with this card. There is source light beaming down onto this person. And to me, it feels like there's going to be a lot of abundance, not just money. Money is a very limited form of abundance that humans understand abundance as, but abundance is so much more than just monetary wealth. Abundance is nature. Abundance is happiness. Abundance is joy. Abundance is freedom. Abundance is being able to do what you love to do. Abundance is having friends that understand you on a very, very deep level. Abundance is being able to have a good night's rest. And abundance is having amazing food and feeding your body well. Abundance is having good health. So abundance comes in so many different ways, and this is a message for you to rethink your understanding of abundance. Because of the limited understanding that you have around what abundance is, that is causing an energetic blockage or energetic knot within the system that is not allowing this energy of abundance to flow in your life. Another thing that stood out to me in this card is this symbol right here. This is actually a sacred geometry. And, well, with anything sacred, there are forces that want to use them and change the meaning of them and manipulate what the symbol means and create a completely different meaning to a sacred symbol or a sacred site or anything sacred, really, even a practice like yoga, for example. This symbol actually represents the heart chakra. And what it's coming through right now is that in order to receive abundance in all forms, in order to even be able to understand what true abundance is, in order to even feel the frequency of what true abundance is, it comes from the heart space. You need to connect deep within the heart, the spiritual heart, not the physical heart, the spiritual heart. And oftentimes it is felt deep in the center of your chest. If you meditate on that space, if you're able to meditate on that space, it actually has a frequency. It actually has a feeling. It gives you a feeling. And this feeling is beyond what humans comprehend as love. Love is a completely other topic that we can talk about, but I'm not sure if it will come through in this transmission. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, then it's a topic for another day. But the purity of the heart, is something that cannot be destroyed. It's something that cannot be manipulated. It's something that cannot be distorted. It's almost like a diamond. The symbol of a diamond is something that cannot be destroyed, something that is so pure. And purity, it's not just in innocence. Purity, it's not just in not having any flaws, because diamonds do have some flaws within them, and people still love them. Diamonds still have some contamination, carbon, some black dots within them, and that's why there are different grades of diamond. But even still, diamond is considered as a symbol of purity, even if it has flaws. And it's the same with all of us. Even if you have done something wrong, quote unquote wrong, done something that is in human terms labeled as wrong in the past, even if you have what you feel as low frequency emotions, which it's the human experience, I think in the spiritual world there is so much around, I need to be in a particular state, I need to be in a particular vibratory rate so that good things can come to me, so that I can manifest good things. But that is a very lopsided way of seeing and understanding what spirituality is, because really spirituality is the human experience, and it is everything that encapsulates the human experience, everything that we experience in this life. That includes the happiness, that includes the sadness, that includes the grief, and that includes the ecstasy. So anyway, back to the heart, the purity of the heart. If you can feel into this space, there is a frequency like an invisible thread that runs through your life, and that you have felt this frequency before, whether it's in a particular space, whether it's something in particular that you have done before, whether it's a passion project, or maybe someone that has activated that frequency within you in the past. You have felt this frequency before. It is pure. It is so pure that it's almost like if you try to grasp it and you try to put it into a mold and put it into something that the human brain tries to categorize or logicalize in what we have experienced before, or believe that is only possible in the human experience, then it becomes a reduction of what it really is, and then that frequency is just isn't it anymore. So the message here is that as long as we do everything and anything from our heart space, as long as we always remember this frequency, as long as we always stay connected to this frequency, then we're so supported. We're so supported beyond measure. We're so supported beyond what we can even comprehend. And that is what abundance is. It's not money coming in. It's not just money coming in. It can be, but it's not just that. It's not just being able to buy anything we want. It's not just what we can comprehend abundance as, but it is a feeling, a frequency of being so held and supported that you don't even comprehend what worrying is. The frequency of worry just is not able to reside within this frequency of love, this frequency of purity, and this frequency of abundance. It's all interconnected, because that's what the truth is. So that is what this card is about. Don't stray away from this frequency. And even if it's something like, for example, a business idea that is coming through, something that you so passionately want to do, it is okay. It doesn't mean that if it's related to business and if it's related to money, which is one of the things that is coming up, that a lot of us have this feeling that money is evil, or money is something that we cannot want when we are enlightened. But who said that? Who said that? Money is a form of the universe's way of expressing abundance, even though it is just one single form. But that is another thing that is sacred: currency, money. It's something that has been distorted so that we are disconnected from this frequency of abundance. And because of that, we're disconnected from the frequency of source. And because of that, we think that we always don't have enough. Money is something that every single one of us touch if we're living here on this plane. It's something that we need, even if it's just 1 cent that you have. And it's a very, very powerful way of circulating energy. So you can feel it when you receive money from a certain person, or when you spend money on a certain business or on a certain item. You can feel the money coming in, how it feels like, and you can feel the money that is going out, if it's coming from love or if it's coming from scarcity from your end. And that energy actually circulates to the next person that's going to receive your money, the next person that's going to receive your money. And it's spreading this energy. So if the collective has the energy of fear and scarcity, then that is going to circulate within the monetary system. And when we touch these monies, then we feel into this limiting beliefs as well. But if the collective is able to shift the relationship with money, their relationship with what abundance is, then the money that's going to circulate within the economy, the money that we're going to receive and give, it's going to reflect back to us. And that's how, from internally, we can change the whole story around money and abundance that is so rapidly circulating in the world now, like a parasite, just feeding off the energy of fear. So always stay connected to the heart space. If you can, meditate on the heart space. I have a guided meditation on Insight Timer. It's free, that I really love, that is really effective in helping you access that frequency of joy, that reservoir of joy that is infinite, that comes from within. It's not from an external source. So if you would like that, I will link the guided meditation in the description box below. So that's the first card, and then that links to this card as well. It says, the Warrior of Light. I have a still-like faith in myself. The angels armor me with conviction. And what I feel from this card is the essence of victory. The essence of being so protected that you don't even have a worry. Like what I said before, the frequency of worry doesn't even come into your life. It doesn't even cross your mind, because you're vibrating in a state of the frequency of truth, which there are different expressions of that. Joy, beauty, freedom is an expression of the frequency of truth. If you go into nature and you just forget about everything and just look at the sunset, look at the sunrise, just be at the ocean and just listen to the waves, that frequency is the frequency of what you feel in your heart as well. In that moment, there is a connection. In that moment, there is a realization, there is a remembrance that, wow, this is it. This is the frequency that we all came here to remember. And so when you are in that state, you don't think about whether you are hungry. You don't think about, oh, will this project succeed? You don't think about, oh, when am I going to meet my soulmate? You don't think about, oh, is money going to come? Am I going to have enough money to pay my rent this month? You don't think about all of that. In that moment, it's just pure connection, pure bliss. And it's almost like everything just stops and you're in that present moment, enjoying what it is, just what it is. It is just what it is, just that. So pure. The other thing about this card that's coming through is that you have an ability to receive this light. Well, every one of us have, because we are Source, we are a fractal of Source, and we are connected to that. We all have the ability to receive messages. We all are a channel. However, there are certain groups of people, and if you resonate with this, this is for you. There are specific groups of people whose vessel is calibrated to be able to receive higher frequency codes or light that have not been anchored in and stabilized on Earth before, because Earth is going through an evolution, just like humanity is going through an evolution, just like, the universe is evolving every single second. We're going through a very rapid evolution, a very rapid increase in frequency, that there needs to be humans here, like vessels, that are a bridge to receive this frequency, and not just receive it and channel it, but to embody it, because embodiment is what anchors that frequency into Earth, and that is what then will manifest in this realm as what that frequency is, the manifestation of that frequency, whatever that is. And so if that resonates with you, you are one of this group of people who are here to act as a bridge to receive, to embody, and to anchor this frequency onto Earth and assist in the evolution or the ascension of the frequency of not just planet Earth, but humanity. And also that is interlinked, that everything is linked. It's interlinked to also the evolution of consciousness in a bigger scheme of things. What it says here is the warrior of light. So your role is not just receiving and embodying this frequency, but it is also protecting this light. So I was shown in meditation today this scene of many women around the riverbed, and there were elephants around, they were spraying water, and they were all just having a lot of fun. Laughter filled the air, a lot of smiles on their faces. And that frequency is the frequency that I'm talking about, the frequency of pure joy and just purity. It just is what it is, and there are no agenda, there is nothing. It just is a frequency of truth expressed in terms of joy. And in that moment, what I felt was other people who see them having so much fun, other people who desire to be connected with this frequency, to be like them, having so much fun and having nothing to worry about. That frequency is very contagious. That laughter is very contagious. That energy is very contagious. And there definitely will be people that desire to embody this frequency, that therefore are then attracted to them. So there are groups of people who genuinely want to be like them, that are attracted to them, who genuinely love their energy, who are also perhaps vibrating at the similar frequency that's therefore attracted to them. But there are also the other side of the camp where people want to milk this energy. And the message that came through is that it is very important to protect yourself, to protect the purity that is within you. Because this light and this energy is not for everybody. Well, it is for everybody eventually, but it is, at this point, not for everybody, because there are groups of people who want to, to use this for their own self-interest or for their own agenda or for whatever evil stuff that they want to do. It is prevalent on this, existence right now, so it's not something that we can't talk about. So therefore, warrior of light, it's not just about receiving and embodying, but also being very discerning and very careful who you share this energy with. Because you don't just share this energy with everybody. That's going to cause your physical space, your energetic space to be very dirty in a sense, not dirty in an impure way, because purity is something that is untouchable, something that it cannot be distorted, it cannot be manipulated. This diamond heart that is within all of us, it's something that, nothing can destroy it. So what I mean is that if you just let anybody into your life, then obviously you're going to feel a lot of different stuff, and you're going to be tired because there are people that's trying to, suck your energy away like a vampire. There are people that is projecting stuff onto you. And, well, that's a great training ground, but eventually you will come to realize that, not everybody is meant to receive this frequency. Not everybody is meant to be close to you. Not everybody is meant to, or rather, you're not meant to share everything that you've gone through or seen in your meditation or journeys or whatever. You're not meant to share everything with everybody. There are certain people that you will feel connected to and in resonance with, and it's meant to be shared to activate something, but it's not for everybody. So that is the main message here, that discernment and boundaries is very important, especially if you resonate as having this role. You can have multiple roles. It's not like, oh, I'm just here and I only have a single mission. A lot of us here have a lot of side missions, side quests, and different things that we came here to do. And it's meant to be like that, because why would Source waste just one vessel to be just, doing one thing when we are all multidimensional beings and we have the capacity to do so much more in other realms. So why only one thing, right? So anyway, that's the main message, is to discern and have boundaries. That's your armor. You don't wait for someone to protect you. You don't wait for the divine to send an armor to you. You create that for yourself first. Interesting. The 3D version of this symbol came up, and it says Chariot of Ascension, spiritual work of the high initiate, which confirms whatever that we've just talked about, your role here as a vessel, as a bridge to receive this higher frequency light, this higher frequency codes, to embody and to anchor and stabilize it onto earth right now. So a lot of people will see and think about the Merkaba when you see this symbol or when you see this imagery. The Merkaba is something that there are a lot of different interpretations as well in different cultures and in different lineages. Coming into communion with this symbol, what it told me is that the Merkaba, representation of our three bodies. Well, we don't only have three, but in a very sort of general and broad umbrella term or categorization, there are the three bodies. We have the physical body, and then we have the astral body, and then we have our light body. And when we reach a state of our cultivation or our practice or our meditation where all three of these bodies are able to come into union, then that is when something unlocks and that we are able to fully experience the full nature of who we truly are. And it's not even who, because we're not a who. It's like what we truly are. Never done any Merkaba meditations before. I just never really felt called to explore that. But I've heard people talk about spinning the tetrahedrons clockwise, anti-clockwise, and whatever in the meditation. For me, I think the best way to directly experience anything is to just let it come when it comes. That is when you know that that experience is something that is not created by a mind, that is not made up by the mind. I'm at a state now where I don't try to force anything in my meditation. I rarely ask things in my meditation now. I just allow it to bring me where I need to go. I just allow the experience to unfold, and all that I am focusing on is to be present, is to just feel the sensations in my body. How does it feel like? How does this frequency feel like? Be curious, but not too much trying to find answers and guide or bring the meditation somewhere and to get something out of the meditation. And that relates back to the whole purity thing. It's like, purely just the experience itself is beautiful. It doesn't mean that your meditation is only successful if you've seen something, if you've felt something. If it's purely just black darkness, that you don't feel anything, that experience in itself is sacred as well. And the reason why I say this is because, well, I have to say this with a lot of caution, because I do agree that in the very beginning stages of people's journey, these things like the Merkaba and this light body, rainbow body, diamond light body, whatever, they are very attractive. And that is actually what pulled you into this whole experience. That's the beginning. It's like a doorway that leads you to somewhere. But eventually, through the journey, you will then realize that, it's so much more than just that. And at some point, you might realize that, all of those things I actually don't resonate with anymore. It doesn't mean that it is useless or that it shouldn't have happened. No, it brought you somewhere. It definitely has brought me somewhere in my journey. But at some point, those things go away. It's we have to learn to release them. We have to learn to detach our identity from those things that we perhaps have identified with and attached our identity with, to release that and to know that we're always expanding, and it's always bringing us closer and closer and closer to the true nature of what everything is, to the truth. The reason why I said that is because I don't want to discourage people from exploring. Because of where we are in the state of the cycle of time right now, we are going into the light age, the cycle of light. And because of that, when something is about to happen, there's always a lot of chaos, in a sense, energy that's moving, because things need to be released and then new things are coming up. It's like how volcanoes are formed, it's like how mountains are formed. It's the converging or the diverging of tectonic plates. And that causes what? Earthquake. It causes tsunami. And that causes, disasters. They're called natural disasters. But behind that natural disaster, it's first of all nature. And second of all, it creates all these beautiful sceneries that we have right now, the volcanoes, the mountain ranges that we hike, that we trek. That is a result of the chaos and the natural disaster. So in relation to what is happening in especially the spiritual world right now, or the industry, I call it industry because it is an industry right now. And, it's going back to the whole money thing. It's not that money is evil. It's not that as long as somebody is trying to make money out of their offering, then they're evil or they're bad or they're not pure. It's not about that. But it's about the fact that there are forces that are trying to stop the light from emerging or from stabilizing on this plane. And that is the duality of our experience. That is part of the experience that we've chosen to experience on this plane right now as a transition into the new order or into the new world. So there are these forces that are trying to disconnect us from source. And so a lot of sacred practices in the past, or ancient wisdom, are being intentionally destroyed or intentionally distorted. Practices like yoga, for example, certain practices like mantra, chanting, certain practices, even like, the whole Kundalini thing. There are so many things that are trying to distract us, and not just distract us, but very intentionally disconnect us from the light and move us in the opposite direction. That is an awareness that we need to have, and therefore the whole warrior thing, the whole armor thing, the whole discernment and boundaries thing is very important. It's not every single thing out there in the spiritual world you need to try. It's not every single thing out there that seems, oh, great, like cacao ceremony. I mean, cacao is great. I have cacao every day, but like, who is in the ceremony? Who is leading the ceremony? Where are they in their journey? What kind of frequency? Like all of these things that are very subtle and very nuanced, that nobody can tell you what's right for you or what's not for you, but you. And that's why discernment and sensitivity to all of these things, to energy, is very, 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 like, the most important right now in the time that we're in. So that's what the Merkaba wants to talk about. It's a little bit of I wouldn't say it's a warning, because I don't want it to be like, something bad's going to happen. But it's something that we all need to be aware of. Okay, and then this card is coming through. It says, everything happens for my liberation. I choose to become only more love, the goddess of never not broken. This is in relation to what I just talked about, the natural disasters and the earthquake and the tsunami and everything that, kills people, destroy buildings. But the other side of it is that it creates all these beautiful places that we hike right now, and that we see and that we enjoy seeing. To see everything, even the bad, what you perceive as the worst thing that has ever happened in your life before, that has broken you, don't see them as a disaster. Don't see them as something that is bad, that has contaminated your purity. That's not what true purity is about. That's fake purity. Purity, again, like I said, it's not about innocence, it's not about being flawless, it's not about not touching money, it's not about not doing anything dirty, it's not about not smoking, it's not about this, that you think purity is about. Purity is a frequency, is that feeling that emanates from within that I don't have words to describe, but you have felt it before in your life. So all of these things that happened, they happened for a reason. I know it's cliche, but it is what it is. It happened for a reason. It brought you to where you are today. And on the flip side, it has created something very beautiful. So point of reflection is, what is something beautiful that has come out of what you perceived as the worst time of your life? Take some time to journal, take some time to think about that, because that will then change, it will sort of neutralize the frequency of grudge or hate, or, well, those two words are not the right words or not the only words to describe this frequency, but that kind of frequency that I'm talking about, that holding on to, and that or grief or whatever. So reflect on that. Everything happens for my liberation. I choose to become only more love. How has this experience cracked your heart, not into pieces, broken pieces, but how has it cracked it open so that you can receive light, so that it shines, it shows you that light that's within you, and then that light can shine outwards? How has that helped you in that way? Okay, I feel the last card of this reading, something about your speech or something about the words that you say. The saint of spoken words. Every word I say becomes a prayer. I am the author of my own story. Every word that I say becomes a prayer. Every word that I say can also become a weapon. So words carry frequency. Be very careful with what you say to yourself, especially, even internally. It doesn't have to be like outwardly, but even internally. Be very careful with how you speak to yourself, the tone, the words that you use to describe yourself, the words that you use to describe others, the word that you use to describe the world, the words that you use to describe the experience. Words have frequency, and therefore language is a very complicated and beautiful thing. Different languages have, even though there is a direct translation with languages, but if you're a native speaker to, for example, for me, I speak Mandarin, like I speak Chinese at home, and the words within Chinese language is so, like, there's so many different ways of expressing joy that if you use a certain phrase to express this kind of joy, it's this kind of joy, it's not that kind of joy, And if you use a certain word to describe anger, there is different levels of anger and ways to describe it. Like English is actually one of the most straightforward languages, in my opinion, even though I don't know many languages. But for me, when I try to, even channel or talk about certain things, a lot of the times when I speak to my friends who know, who understand Chinese as well, I feel like when I don't have the words to describe a certain thing in English, I tend to be able to describe it in Mandarin. And in terms of language, even words itself carry a charge. It carries an emotional charge. It carries a programmed understanding of what it is. For example, if I talk about the word manipulate. I don't know about you, but for me, when I use the word manipulate to explain how to I don't even have the word to describe, to explain how to use energy, for example, to be able to shape energy, to be able to control is not the right word as well, but you get what I mean. To be so sensitive that you can shape it like liquid. You can create a shape out of water or energy. Energy is liquid water in my understanding, in my vision. So the word that comes through for me is the ability to manipulate energy. But when I use that word, I feel like it doesn't feel right, and it might cause a lot of misunderstanding in others, because manipulate to me has a very negative charge to it. Like, you manipulate people. It's not a good thing that you manipulate people, but really it just means to direct it towards a certain place or towards something, to direct energy, to shape other people's thoughts, to direct their thoughts to something else. So words like this is just an example. So it is very important to be careful with the words that you use, because it can serve you, but it can also be a weapon. But it then goes back again to the purity of the heart, which, as long as you are connected to this frequency, then really nothing can go wrong. Because you will just know. You'll be able to, I think that frequency in itself, when you touch that frequency of truth, of purity, for what it is, just what it is, it is a calibration, it is a recalibration to your whole system in itself. And then that translates to everything else, to the people that you feel connected to or not. And sometimes it doesn't even make any sense. And that then expresses itself as discernment, it expresses itself as having boundaries, and expresses itself as, being very good with words, or the way that you express your feelings or certain things. Ancient language is far more powerful than the languages that we know of today. For example, Sanskrit, right? It's a language of vibration. It's almost like if you try to translate a mantra, it doesn't make any grammatical sense because that's not how the language works. When you chant the mantra, it's also not about understanding what each word means, but rather you can have completely no understanding of the language of Sanskrit. But when you chant a specific mantra enough times, you can feel the frequency of what this mantra is. It kind of becomes alive. It becomes alive, and then it talks to you. It teaches you. It shows you stuff. And that's the true embodiment or the true essence of the mantra. And that perhaps that is an invitation for you to explore mantras and to start your mantra japa practice of chanting mantras 108 times or more a day. But just like how mantras are very, very, very powerful, there are also mantras that are curses. So just be very careful with that. Don't just believe any mantra that you hear, any songs that you hear online, songs as well, the language that they use in the lyrics and the music, the frequency that's coming through, they all have a certain charge towards it, and it makes you feel a certain way. I'm not saying don't listen to pop music. I mean, I have my favorite artists that I, very selected few that I really love, but not everybody, of course. Also, not every spiritual musician out there that you see or that you have come across on YouTube means that it is of the light. You have to use your discernment and you have to be able to feel into things. So, last card. Last card is the Miracle of Isis, miraculous healing of the goddess. And the message here is that you don't find this healing power outside of you. The healing power comes within. It's everything that really has come through today is all about really pointing within here. This is the gateway of the connection to Source. And when you're connected to that, you're connected to any kinds of frequency as an expression of Source. That can be healing power, that can be abundance, that can be beauty, that can be, I don't know, anything. And everything is within you. If there is anybody that tries to say that no, only me or only that person or only this saint or whatever can access the truth, and not you or any of that kind of frequency, that's not truth. Just run away from that. It's time to discern it, time to draw those lines, create your own boundaries with these kind of things. Yeah, so a reminder that everything is indeed within you. Everything is happening for the reason of your liberation, for the reason of your enlightenment. Liberation from what? Liberation from all of the untruth. All of the, it's like a mind jail. We've trapped ourselves in this mind jail that is constantly repeating the stories of lack, the stories of scarcity, and that disconnects us from the frequency of truth. Liberate yourself from that through whatever practices deeply calls you. Not any because of curiosity, but I mean, that's part of the journey anyway. At some point, the one will come, or the ones will come to you. And then you will know. And sometimes we do need that duality to know what the truth is. We do need that duality to know what is and what isn't. We do need that duality to hone our sensitivity. So it's all, again, part of the journey. Don't be afraid of what's going to happen, or, the quote-unquote bad things, or the tragedies, or we are also so protected and so guided that it's beyond our imagination how protected we are. We have the power to say yes or no. And so if there are energies that come to you, or people that come to you, that you just know it's a no from you, don't be afraid to draw that line. Don't be afraid to say no. That is something that I also have to learn in my... I find it easier to energetically say no, but to physically say no, the people-pleasing part of me is like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna hurt them, and I don't want to, but I have to sometimes. And there is a way to say no in a loving and gentle way. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be bitchy about it. But even if you want to, and sometimes people do need that part and that energy to cut off completely. But anyway, okay, so that is the message for today. Short little announcement that I and my friend will be hosting our last journey in Egypt this November. and the applications are now open. So if you are feeling called to the land, and only if you are feeling called to the land, please do apply. We'll go through a filtering process to make sure that, you know, everybody that comes is in resonance with what we are there for. So, link is in the description box. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I will see you in the next one.